In this video, we just shall look at how our Warshall algorithm performs. Okay, so Warshall's algorithm is a kind of an algorithm which follows a dynamic approach. Okay, so dynamic approach is a kind of an algorithmic approach. What it does is that it just follows an simple technique by solving or overlapping the subproblems and identifying its solution. So the smaller subproblems will be erased by similar smaller subproblems which is being already done. So here in dynamic programming, each and every subproblem which is being solved will be storing its result in a form of a table, and then if similar kind of a problem arises, it will not be solving it again. Instead of solving it again, what it does is that it just takes it out from the table which is already stored. Okay, so your Warshall's algorithm follows the dynamic approach for performing the operation. So right now we just shall look at what is the definition of a Warshall's algorithm, what is the purpose of a Warshall's algorithm. So Warshall's algorithm, you will be given with a graph, and then simply to say that it is used to identify whether there exists a given path between each and every node inside the given graph. Okay, so this is the main purpose of a Warshall's algorithm. So it is used to calculate the transitive closure of the given graph. Okay, so here what we are going to do is that we are just going to look at a certain example, right? Unweighted but directed graph. Okay, so we are just having around 4 nodes in it. So A, B, C, D, we are just having 4 nodes in it, and then certain edges connecting those nodes. Okay, so initial thing what you have to do is that we just have to construct the adjacency matrix for it. Okay, so for constructing the adjacency matrix, so what we have to do is that we just have to mention its nodes. So we are having 4 nodes, so I'm just making 4 cross 4 matrix. I'm just constructing it, so we just call it as the adjacency matrix. Okay, so by looking at it, what we have to go do is that we just have to identify whether there exists a path between A to A, A to B, A to C, A to D, right? So what we have to do is that we just have to look whether there is a path between A to A. So there is no path, so I'm just marking it as 0. So whether there exists a path between A to B, yes, there exists a path, so I'm just marking it as 1. So whether there exists a path between A to C, there is no path, so I'm just marking it as 0. So whether there is a path between A to D, so there is no path from A to D, so I'm just marking it as 0. Okay, so this is how you have to construct your matrix. So similarly, in a simpler manner, what we can do is that we just can take the particular node and then look out for its outgoing node. So for example, B has how many outgoing nodes? It has only one outgoing node which is moving to D. So what I do, I just mark D as 1 and then all the remaining as 0. So similarly, for node C, how many outgoing nodes are there? So there is no outgoing nodes. So I'm just going to mark each and everything as 0. So similarly, I'm just going to take the node D. How many outgoing nodes are there? So there are 2 outgoing nodes, which is from D to A and D to C. So I'm just marking A and C as 1 and the remaining as 0. So this is how you will be constructing your adjacency matrix. Okay. So here, how your Warshall's algorithm performs is that we have to construct an transitive closure matrix. So transitive closure matrix is nothing but it is a sequence of matrix, so which means that we will be starting with 0. So R of 0 you will be constructing or you will be having, and then you will be having around R of n number of transitive closure matrix to form the final matrix, such a way that we are just going to identify whether there exists a path between A to A and all these paths. Okay, so here what I will be doing is that I will be constructing the matrix, R matrix, and then I will be doing it. So here what does the term n represent is, so n represents the number of nodes inside the list. Okay, so for the first matrix R of 0 is going to be your adjacency matrix, and the remaining matrix you just have to calculate. So R1, R2, R3 and R4. So for this particular example we just have to calculate our R1, R2, R3 and R4. Why? Because is that we are just having 4 nodes in it, so we just have to calculate all the 4 nodes right now. Okay, so for calculating the values of it, so we will be using a formula. So what is the formula we will be using is that R of I comma j of k will be calculated with R of I comma j of previous value, which is nothing but k minus 1, or what you will be doing is that you will be considering the adjacency matrix R of ik of k minus 1 and r of kj of k minus 1. Okay, so you just have to consider these two values. If your previous value is being either 1 or your values which is being highlighted by your k, so which means that the number kind of the path which we are looking, right? So 1 2 3, right? So whether if it is your highlighted values of 1 is 1, we will be marking it as 1. So both your row and column values has to be 1 for changing the current value from 0 to 1. Okay, so first what we will be doing is that we will be, as said earlier, we will be constructing the R1. So R0, so R0 we are just directly allocating our adjacency matrix. We are just taking our adjacency matrix and then we are putting it up. So for example, I am just taking it over here. So 0 0 0 1, and then similarly 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0. So this is our adjacency matrix. I am just simply putting it inside my R0, right? So for R1, so what we are going to do is that we are just going to implement this particular formula. Okay, so this formula can be simplified and then implemented. So how we are just going to implement is that, so we are just going to take the highlighted value, so which means that we are right now we are performing R1, right? So what we have to do is that we just have to highlight the first row and the first column in the previous matrix. So we are going to construct R1. For constructing R1, we are highlighting the first row and the first column in the previous matrix. Okay, so obviously your highlighted values is not going to change. So what I do is that I just place it as such, right? Okay, so for this value, for the remaining next value, we are just going to calculate, right? So for this value, what I will be doing is that I will be checking the highlighted row value, which is nothing but 1, and highlighted column value, here it is 0. If both the values are 1, I'll just change this 0 to 1 right now. So here the condition is that here one is 1 and the other one is 0. So I'm just going to place the previous value, which is nothing but 0 over here. So here our old value is 0. Here the highlighted row value is 0. Highlighted column value is also 0. I'm just marking it as 0. For the next term, it is already 1. So there is no need for you to compare. Okay, for the next element, here it is 0, right? So the highlighted column value is 0, highlighted row value is 1. So what I do, I just mark it with 0, the previous value. So here previous value is 0. So your highlighted values are both 0. So I'm just marking it as 0. So here the previous value is 0, the highlighted values are both 0. So I'm just marking it as 0. Right, so here the next element, if you just take a closer look at it, so here what happens is that the highlighted value is 1 and then the highlighted value is 1. So whenever you are having your highlighted row value and highlighted column value as 1, you have to replace your 0 with your 1, right? So what I'm doing, I'm just placing 1 instead of 0 over here, right? And then the next value, I'm just taking it, and this is already 1, I'm just placing it as 1. So for the last value, what I do, I just take it, right? So here it is 0 and here it is 1. So both the values are not 1. So we are just splitting the previous value, which is nothing but 0. Okay, so this is how you just construct your R matrix with the help of the previous matrix. So similarly, what we are going to do right now is that we are just going to construct till R4. Why? Because we are just having 4 number of matrices over here. So what we have to do is that we just have to construct 4 values. Okay, so R1 we have calculated. So right now I'm just taking R2 value. So for calculating the R2 value, so the value which I want to highlight is my second column and my second row. So here I just have highlighted my second row and second column, right? So highlighted values are not going to change. So I'm just going to place it as such, right? Okay, so for the remaining values, I just have to calculate it. So for example, for this value, so 0 and 1, so I'm just going to place it as 0. So here for this value, 1 and 0, so the previous value is 0. So here 1 and 1 is there. So whenever there are 2 1s, we have to change this value to 1. So here what I have done is that I just have changed it to 1. So here for this value, 0 and 0 is there. I just place 0, 0 and 0 again, 0, 0 and 1, it is not going to change. So it is 0. Right, so here we are having 2 1s. So one we are having already 1, so there is no need for you to compare. So here for this value 0 is there. So the adjacent values, both the adjacent values are your 1. So what you have to do is that you just have to change this value to 1. Right, so I have done what I have done. I just have changed it to 1. right? So similarly R3 value, so what I have to do is that for calculating the R3 value, so the previous matrix, you just have to highlight the third column and third row. So third row and third column, I just have highlighted it right now. So once after highlighting it, so the highlighted values will not change. So I just mark 0, 0, 0. Okay, so whenever you just identify that whenever a single row or the entire row or whenever there is an entire column which is going to be zeros, your previous value will not change. Okay, so here what has happened, the entire row is become in 0, so the previous value will not change. So what I can do is that I just shall write the previous value as such. Okay, so here the entire row is 0, so there is no need for you to do it. Okay, whenever you are having 1 only, your values will alter, so we are just placing it as such, right? So here for constructing our R4 matrix, so what we are doing is that we are just highlighting the 4th row and we are highlighting the 4th column, right? So here what we have done is that we just are highlighting the last value, so the highlighted values will not change, so I'm just placing it as such, right? So we have to construct the matrix again. So here it is 0, right? For 0, your adjacent, both your adjacent highlighted values are 1 and 1, so I'm just changing it to 1. So here also for this value, your highlighted column value and highlighted row value both are 1, so I'm just marking it as 1. Similarly over here, so both your highlighted values are 1, I'm just marking it as 1, right? Again here also both your values are 1, I am marking it as 1. So both your values are 1, so I am just marking it as 1. So here both my values, right? So here 0, here both my values are turning out to be 1, so I am just marking it as 1, right? So here for 0, this 0, my values 1 and 0 is there, so it is going to be 0. So here previous value is 0, 1 and 0 is going to be there, so it is going to be 0. 1 and 0 is going to be there, so previous value I'm just marking it as 0. Okay, so this is your transitive closure for your given graph. So this is your transitive closure for your given graph. So which means that, for example, whether there exists a path between A to A, yes, there exists a path between A to A. Whether there exists a path between A to D, yes, there exists a path from A to D. So likewise, if there exists a path from your node to the other nodes, you will be doing it, or you will be obtaining it while passing it through R power 4 or R power n number of passes. So here your n turns out to be the number of nodes inside your graph which is being given. Okay, so this is how you just solve your Warshall's algorithm.